Today, via tier list, my boys, we're going to be ranking every single male underdog that's going to be fighting at UFC 321 this weekend, okay? How it's going to work, if they're up in the S tier, the A tier, the upper echelon, my boys. I think they got a really good chance of getting it done despite being overlooked, despite being an underdog, despite the plus money. I think there's good value. I think they have a good chance of winning. Some of them, I'm questioning how they're even an underdog, so that's what the S and A tier is going to be, okay? They're representing the dogs pretty well, and if they're in the C tier and the D tier, I think that there's a reason why they're an underdog. I kind of struggle to see them getting it done. They can for sure. It's MMA. You never know, folks. But you know what I'm saying, man. Okay, the dogs that I feel like have a rougher time getting this one done are going to go in the C tier and the D tier. Okay, there's a reason why they have that plus money. So y'all get how this works. Okay, we're going to jump into it here. Starting off with Ciryl Gane. I mean, the man that's in the main event, this Frenchie that I really can't stand. And if he does get this one done, dude, the world will be upset. Everything's going to be upside down. Adult Swim's going to be Swim Adult. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to put Gane in the C tier. By all means, when you look at physically, when you look at skill set wise, everything in the world, aura, I'm going to be that guy that drags aura into this, okay? I think that Aspinall has damn near every advantage for this one. By all means, I think Aspinall will be able to get this one done. I think he's got more power and better finishing ability in general, but especially on the feet. I think it's some of the craziest power we've ever seen at heavyweight, and it's associated with the speed. He's got the speed to go with it, so I think Aspinall is going to have quicker hands, harder hitting hands, and I just rate the pure boxing out of him better. Like, Ciryl Gane has slick kickboxing. He has high output on the feet. He has a lot of wins in the UFC, but I just think Aspinall's the better striker. And don't even get me started on the grappling, man. And who's the more well-rounded fighter? Like, by all means, I think Aspinall has so many advantages, and I think there's a reason why. It doesn't even have to be a jinx, but everybody's saying Aspinall via round 1 KO, Aspinall via round 1 sub, Aspinall via whatever he wants. I don't think that's a meme. I don't think it's because we're overlooking Gane either. Like, I think Aspinall is that good. And for Gane, man, like, I'm going to put him in the C tier and not D because, of course, he can get this done. He's the wild card of the card. He's that guy that, 1 out of every 50, they're picking him. It's that crafty pick. The thing about Aspinall, he has so many question marks to where if Gane really does have better cardio, just is more proven to kind of get past the first round or two compared to some of these other heavyweights. But I don't think Gane is just like the guy that has the most granite chin. I don't think he's the guy that has the greatest gas tank. So obviously, there are a lot of question marks with Aspinall. If this fight goes into the later rounds, maybe Gane takes over. Maybe Gane finds all the right shots. Maybe Gane is just building as the fight goes on and he surprises us with the takedown defense. But it would just be a shock. Any way that Gane wins, it's going to be a huge shock. He can get it done. He's got that puncher's chance. It's heavyweight. You don't know. And on top of the fact, like, he is a good fighter. He is a good striker. And who knows, maybe he'll surprise us. But by all means, Aspinall should still be the heavyweight champion the next day. Gane, I'll put him in the C tier. It's unlikely, but who the hell knows, you know? Moving on up next to Mario Bautista, okay? The odds, oh my God, I'm checking the odds for the first time in a few days. And Bautista's now a plus 500 and Umar's a minus 800. He's a huge favorite. And don't get me wrong, I think Umar is one of the safer picks of the card. I think that Umar is a great fighter in his own right, but Bautista, man, should not be this big of an underdog. Umar's not invincible. Umar is beatable. I know he's great. I know he's got that Team Khalabib aura, the Team Khalabib, like the Joey Diaz shit, but I don't know what the fuck I just did. You know what I'm saying, though, man? Umar's great, but why is Bautista this big of an underdog? I'm going to put him in the B tier. I genuinely can see a world where Bautista gets this done, man. And I think there's really good value here on Bautista. Like, especially if this goes to, like, a really close decision, which I think this is how it's going to end up. Whether Umar wins like I think he will or Bautista does, I think it's going to end in a very competitive decision. I think the fight's going to end even if Bautista loses, with people saying, wow, he's a dog. Like, he really proved he's that top 10 level. Umar's just that good. I think that's going to be kind of the 29-28 this fight ends with. But Bautista, man, like, I get Umar has the striking advantage. You could argue, okay? I think he's a bit quicker, more versatile, better leg kicks up there, whatever. You could argue he's got the better wrestling, but Bautista still has good, solid striking, high output on the feet. He doesn't have that, kind of one-punch KO power. He doesn't have great finishing ability or pop behind his shots on the feet, but he's a solid striker that can march you down, and he applies high output and pressure. And for a guy like Umar, who was so uncomfortable with that against Merab, like, hey, I'm going to literally smash you on feet and smash you on ground, he did rough with that, man. He was like a shit in the wind. So I think that Bautista, if he really does just apply such a crazy pressure and he really does find the right shots on the feet, if his takedown defense and his defensive grappling looks good, or at least solid enough to get back efficiently to the feet, and is able to piece up Umar, and maybe he does have the striking advantage that I'm just not aware of, he can get this done, man. Bautista is solidly well-rounded. He's got good cardio. He knows how to kind of, again, march you down, and I think that his style could maybe be Umar. I'm going to put him in the B tier because of that, and I think there, again, is really good value on plus 500, but there's a reason why he's a big underdog. There's a reason why Umar is just kind of growing as a favorite. It's because I do think he should be able to get this one done. I still think Bautista has a good chance, so I'm going to put him in the B tier. But regardless, I think it'll be a competitive fight, though. Moving on up next to Alexander Volkov. Right now, he's sitting at a plus 195. He's taking on Jailton Almeida. I'm going to put Volkov in the A tier. I want to go S, but like as someone who's not picking Volkov, and I got a couple reasons for that, like I can't put him in the S tier. I can't put him at the tippity motherfucking top, but I got all due respect for Volkov, and I think there's great value on him here. I know he's coming off of the Gane robbery. I know that he's getting, the older fighter, a bit of the slower fighter, not much momentum on his side right now, but Volkov can totally find that right shot that cracks Almeida on the way in. You know how Almeida was spamming takedowns against Blades, and then I believe Blades caught him with the uppercut on the way in, opening up the second round. Almeida was so persistent and so focused on dragging the fights to the mats, dragging out like a slow decision, where Blades caught him. Blades caught him with that right shot, and I think Volkov has the power to do that. And I'm not even just saying Volkov can win just off that puncher's chance, and if Almeida's showing low fight IQ. I'm not comparing Volkov just to purely a Blades, okay? Regardless of that, I think Volkov, even if it's not just some crazy kind of one-shot catching Almeida on the way in for a takedown, I think Volkov skill set-wise, and just in terms of everything in his attributes, I think really he can get this one done. This fight's a damn near pick 'em to me. I don't understand how Almeida is growing as a favorite, but Volkov, there's great value here, man. Whether it's a decision, a knockout, whatever it is, I could see him winning this one. His striking, I'd give him the advantage. I feel like his takedown defense, his defensive grappling has been improving so much since the Blades performance or the Aspinall chokeout, the first Gane performance, whatever it was in the timeline that put us here where Volkov has been massively improving. It's happening. It's a real thing, Daniel, but I think that Volkov has solid enough takedown defense to shuck off a lot of the takedowns from Almeida, and if it really is a stand and main battle here, man, you gotta favor Volkov. Despite Almeida having good striking, underrated striking, okay? I think the guy in general is pretty underratedly entertaining as well, but I think Volkov has a real chance to get this one done. Puncher's chance or not, I think that Volkov is a good enough fighter to be able to dictate where he wants this fight to go. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm going with Almeida. I think Almeida's got a really good chance to win, and I'm, semi-confident picking Almeida here, but Volkov just makes me doubt it. It's not even a gut feeling or anything. Volkov is just that good, and I picked him against Gane as a big underdog, and he arguably got that one done, and it's kind of maybe a similar vibe here, but I just think Volkov, him being on the tail end of his career doesn't help. Him kind of being taken down 15 times by a Blades when they fought. Like, he has shown vulnerabilities in his grappling. I think that's why I can't put him in an S tier. Like, Almeida is a rough matchup for him, but there's still good value on Volkov, okay? So I'm going to put him in the A tier here, all right? A+. I'll give it A+ for Volkov, all right? Moving on up next here to Aleksander Rakic. The last time I checked this fight, it was a pick'em, but right now, he's a very, very, very slight underdog, okay? He's like a plus 105 here. I'm going to put Rakic in the S tier. I see great value on Rakic, and I'm picking him so that, there could be someone that, if they were doing the same tier list I'm doing, and they're going with Mirzakhanov, they think Mirzakhanov's going to get a round 1 KO, they might put Rakic in like C tier, D tier. But for me personally, I don't even know if it's personal bias aside, I really think that a lot of people forget Manning over Alexander Rakic, okay? Like, I think Rakic is still a good fighter, but I think he's fought very elite competition in his last few performances, and I think that's why people are overlooking him. But losing to Blachowicz, Magomed Ankalaev, and Jiří Procházka, like back to back to back. Those are crazy levels of competition, and Mirzakhanov is such a step down. This is such a big step up for Mirzakhanov, vice versa. So I really can't see Rakic just proving why he's been in the top 5, why he's been in the top 7. You know how Tim Elliott got that crafty win, and people were questioning for years how this guy's even still ranked? Maybe Rakic can do that and represent the big boys, all right? But I think that Rakic has great value here, man. I understand that he's had more losses and more damage in his career. He's definitely lacking that momentum on his side right now. He really needs a win, but I rate the striking, at least in terms of the technicality, better for Rakic, man. I think Mirzakhanov is a bit more one-dimensional. I think he's a bit slower. I think he relies on that KO power, where at least Rakic, I feel like, has more tools to get it done. I feel like his striking is cleaner, sharper, and at least he's kind of making it competitive on the feet against a Procházka, against an Ankalaev, two of the better strikers, two of the best strikers for the division right now, okay? So say whatever you want about Big Ang. I don't rock with the guy, but you know what I'm saying. The guy won the title, okay? For it to be 1-1 going into the third, and Rakic just showed low fight IQ and poor judgment from his team, and you could argue that's why he was so hesitant, and that's why he ultimately lost that third round. Like, Rakic is good. Rakic can get this one done, whether it's a close razor close decision, whether it's a round 2 or 3 late TKO, and Mirzakhanov just slows down and the experience takes over for Rakic. He finds that knockout that keeps him relevant to people. Like, I feel like Rakic has the striking, And I feel like I would argue he has the better grappling as well. Like Mirzakhanov just doesn't really have too much in his game besides just marching you down, applying heavy pressure, and just finding that nasty KO, man. Like the guy does have crazy power, and Rakic has been prone to getting knocked out. He's susceptible to getting caught with some crazy power from Mirzakhanov, okay? So don't get me wrong, I wouldn't be surprised if I see like a round 1 KO where Mirzakhanov is standing over Rakic and he's the next big thing, but I think that Rakic at least proven, yes, even though he's been losing, but at least he's proven that he can be that UFC level. He can make it competitive against these guys. And again, I rate the striking more. I think he has more tools to get it done. I'd even rate kind of the grappling a little bit better, even though both these guys are purely strikers. They're both just kind of want to strike and stand and bang for the most part. I still think that Rakic has more tools to get it done than Mirzakhanov. I'm going to put him in the S tier. He's a very slight underdog, but I think there's good value on it, okay? Moving on up next to Quillian Salkilld, mate. I don't even know what accent that was. Was it Irish? Was it Australian? Was it British? I don't know. It was terrible. It was mental. That's what it was, bro. Quillian Salkilld is coming in right now as a very slight underdog. He's a plus 105, plus 115. So pretty much just like Rakic, like very slight underdog. But I can't put him in the S tier like Rakic. I'll put him in A. I'm going to put Salkilld in the A tier here. I feel like there's good value on him. I'm not picking him to win. I like Salkilld a lot, too. Like, if y'all watch my predictions video, I was glazing him and a half, okay? Like, genuinely, I like Salkilld a lot. I hope he gets it done. I think there's great value on him as an underdog, but I think that Hack Press is just going to be able to match him fire for fire in the striking. And I feel like his takedown defense is good enough to shuck off a lot of the takedowns from Salkilld. So Salkilld can still get this one done, though. I think that Salkilld, even if the takedowns don't land all the way through, I think his striking is good enough maybe to hang against Hack Press. And if it ends up being one of those, close decisions, close 29-28s, and it is in Abu Dhabi, they like favoring kind of their boys, okay, Hack Press, he's kind of the king of winning these very close robbery decisions. He's kind of doing it against Gordon, against Ribovics. Granted, great wins, great level of competition. And that's a big reason why I'm picking him over Salkilld, because I think level of competition matters. I love Salkilld, but you know what I'm saying. I think there's a lot of potential for him, but Hack Press, I could see this just going his way. And even if it is a close decision, I could see him winning via robbery. So that favors Hack Press, but Salkilld, the reason why I'm going to put him in the A tier is because there is great value here. Maybe that close robbery decision goes his way. Like, I feel like the UFC is giving both these guys a big spot, but I feel like they favor kind of the hype behind Salkilld over Hack Press, who's kind of, he's on a good streak right now, but he's not exactly a great draw. So they're invested in Salkilld. And on top of that, like, Salkilld has the aggressiveness, just kind of like that raw greenness on his resume and his record to where it could come back to bite him in the ass. I think he lacks that upper echelon experience or even UFC experience so far, but I think that kind of might be able to help him in terms of he's just going to be able to have a bigger statement to prove, more to prove, and trying to just get after it a bit harder than some of these guys who have been around the UFC a long time. Salkilld, he's hungry, he's younger. I feel like his striking is good. His grappling, it's impressed us, okay? I can see him just marching down Hack Press, even if he's unsuccessful with the takedowns, maybe getting the better of him in the striking. So I think that Salkilld, there's good value here. I'm not picking him, but I'm rooting for him, so I'll put him in the A tier here. Moving on, I'm next to the Iron Turtle. Junyong Park here. This is difficult because I like the Iron Turtle. I think he can get it done, but I'm going to put him in the C tier. Maybe that's crazy as hell because Park has good wrestling. He's been around the UFC for a while. He's crafty in every sense of the word. And he's really only coming up short. Like, it's hard to just knock him out. He's really only coming up short in these kind of close decisions for the most part. I think that Aleksander is the guy that maybe could find the chin and actually crack him, actually get that knockout to where, Aleksander just has that scary power. It's not like an Aspinall power. It's not like a Jeremy Stevens power. But Aleksander, besides Robert Whittaker, has pretty much marauded through everybody. He's pretty much knocked out everybody so far in the UFC. And I'm not saying that Warlley Alves is like the highest level of competition here, okay? But Aleksander, I still gotta rate him, man. Like, Andre Muniz was like a similar competition that these two have fought, and he got a robbery decision over Park, and meanwhile, he got knocked out inside like 1 round, 2.5 minutes by Aleksander, and that's their only like similar opponent. So I think that goes to show that Aleskander's power is breaking through, man. I feel like he might be able to find the chin of Park, and Park is good, he's durable. I could see him just pulling out some crafty upset because Aleksander isn't invincible. I think he can get probably taken down in his own right. The grappling is still pretty much unknown. We trust in it to be good. From what we've seen out of it and what we know about it, we know it's pretty solid. But for the most part, Aleksander wants to stand and bang. But I just struggle to find, even though that he's not too big of an underdog, I struggle to find like too many reasons to go with Park here. I'm going to put him in the C tier. By all means, I do think Aleksander should have the momentum shift towards his way. I feel like this is a prospect that should be able to get past Park here, okay? But we'll see how it goes. I don't see too much value or investment in Park, but maybe he can get it done. I'll put him in the C tier, but I don't know. I struggle to find reasons to really go with him, man. Moving on, I'm next to Mateusz Rebecki here, man. And I'll put him in the A tier. If you asked me a few days ago, I probably would have said S. And he's one of the very few underdogs on this whole card that I'm actually picking. And, I'm semi-confident in it. But, dude, as closer as we get to the card, the more I start to doubt it. This guy has given us so much, okay, in terms of entertainment and all of the blood he has shed and all the soul he has given us over the past 12 months. Fight of the year argument against Orobai last year. Fight of the year argument this year against Chris Duncan. Like, I viewed it more as a positive thing when I was making the prediction and when I really think about this fight, because I thought that, and I think that Rebecki will still be durable enough, despite all the damage, to still march down Klein. And even though Klein is the cleaner striker, maybe the faster striker, he is the much more kind of technical striker. But again, for Rebecki here, I rate the marauder mindset, the aggressiveness, a bit of the higher finishing ability, better pop into shots. I mean, straight up power, dude. Like, and at least I would say a bit more well-rounded in terms of he can kind of implement takedowns a bit more and a bit more efficiently. Like, Rebecki wants to stand and bang. Obviously, this is how we're getting these fight of the years most of the time, but you know what I'm saying. I think that Rebecki, the betting odds are very close. I do think that there's good value here. I wish he was a bigger dog. You can kind of stretch out a bit of that better value, but it is what it is. I think it's close for a reason, though, because Klein, dude, he gives me reasons to worry because he's not the greatest finisher, but like, what if the chin of Rebecki just finally breaks? What if this is the time? Like, what if, it's crazy to say, what if Rebecki is just human? Maybe, I don't know. He's a freak, but like a good freak. You know what I'm saying, dude? But I don't know. I'll put Rebecki in the A tier. I'm starting to worry about it, so that's why I can't put it in an S. But you know what? They're underdogs. You know what I'm saying? Like, obviously, when you're going with an underdog, you get a little bit of that doubt. I think that Klein is a very skilled fighter. These guys are on a similar level of competition to each other, and I feel like it's going to be an interesting clash of styles here. But again, I think that I'm going to trust in Rebecki to march him down. Me picking him or not, regardless, I still think that there's good value on him. I still think that I'm going to put him in the A tier regardless here, okay? Moving on him next to Louie Sutherland. Making his UFC debut again. We don't know too much about this dude, but where should I put him? I'm going to put him in the C tier. I'll put him in the C tier. I want to say D because, like, oh, Valtz or Walker, man. This guy's a proven prospect. He's got a 3 heel hook streak in the UFC right now. Like, Walker is good, and he's almost undefeated. The only guy that's ever beaten him in the UFC is the jobber of all jobbers, Lucas Brzeski. I don't know how that even happened, okay? We're in the wrong timeline with Walker, but regardless, Sutherland, I can't put him in the D tier because I do think he has the power advantage on the feet. I think that Walker, we're going to have to see how his striking really holds up. He's been focusing a lot on the grappling in his past couple of performances, but I think he's striking no surprises in this one. I think Walker's going to win regardless. I think he's got a really good chance to do so, but Sutherland, I think in terms of pure striking power, he might have the advantage. Now, granted, he hasn't fought in the UFC yet. We're going to have to see how that power translates, but we'll see it, man. I think that Louie Sutherland, because it's heavyweight, because there's that mystery to it, because he's making his debut, I could see him getting some crazy knockout, okay? And then we kind of find out about Sutherland, like, wow, like heavyweight got a new prospect who just beat the prospect that beat the prospect. Like, what I mean by that is if Sutherland really wins, man, like heavyweight is kind of fucked. Walker is kind of one of the main prospects we have to invest in for the division. He just beat Nuzicheku, or Kennedy Nuzichuku, however the fuck you say his name, and he was supposed to be the next prospect. So it's like these guys are just beating each other, and we can't even get just one prospect that's rising the ranks, okay? Towles and Teixeira, like Waldo Cortez Acosta, so like, heavyweight's a clusterfuck in every sense of the word, man. I could see Sutherland just having that, you know, debut order, like the fact that it is heavyweight, you don't really know, man. So I could see him maybe getting it done. That's why I'm not putting him in D, but by all means, man. I know that Walker got pieced up by Lucas Brzeski. I get that's a bad look, but come on, man. The guy's proven UFC level. He should get this one done. He's got the grappling advantage here by miles, and Sutherland's only losses in his grand scheme for his MMA career come from when he stepped up to the PFL or the Bellator level, let alone the UFC, not even the UFC yet. So there's a lot of reasons to worry about Sutherland. We don't know how he is at that UFC level, and I feel like he's suffering from a grappling disadvantage here. And Walker's pretty similar in size, man, okay? So I feel like Sutherland, it'll be hard for him to get this one done. He's a big underdog. I don't think there's great value on him here, to be honest. But there's the off chance he gets it done. I'll put him in the C tier. I'm not exactly going to invest in him or tell you guys to, but it is what it is, brother. You know what I mean. Moving on up next to Mitch Raposo. Mitch Raposo is sitting right now at a plus 270. He's taking on Azat Maxim to kick off the card here. I'm going to put Raposo in the D tier. Listen, he's not the smallest underdog, and he's not the biggest underdog on this card, okay? He's somewhere kind of in the middle, but I got to put him as, I think, the worst underdog of the card because I get it. We're dealing with Azat Maxim, only fought a couple times in the UFC. And I get Raposo only fought a couple times in the UFC. And both these guys have lost a majority of their fights, okay? So, you know, you could argue it's kind of one of those who knows fights, and Raposo could totally get it done and shock us. But I don't see the good value here, man. I really struggle to find reasons to convince myself that Raposo's going to get it done. I feel like it's a bit more of just like a one-dimensional grappler who is striking is solid, like he's been implemented a bit more and more at the UFC level. But I just think that Maxim is just more well-rounded. I feel like I rate his wrestling better. his striking better, his finishing instincts better, his submission game better, okay? Maxim, especially he's coming from that Kazakhstan region, and whereas Mitch Raposo, just like me, he's from the USA, we're not doing too hot right now, okay? Especially with just like these guys rising the ranks in the UFC. So Mitch Raposo, I just can't confidently pick him, and I can't even confidently put him in S, A, B, or C. I'm going to put him in the D tier here. I feel like if he wins, it's going to be one of the bigger upsets on the card, and I feel like getting a win over Azat Maxim isn't anything too crazy. It's already been done a couple of times at this point, but it would still be a big shock. But in general, I just can't pick Raposo here, and I struggle to find reasons to kind of hype him up to get it done. I feel like he's going to lose some close decision, or maybe even get, I don't even know. It's hard to finish Raposo. He's just been 0-3 in the UFC with all just like close decisions or decisions in general. So I don't know, man, but I'm struggling to pick him. I don't think there's good value on him here. I think he's probably the worst underdog of the card. I'll put him in the D tier, okay? It's going to age terribly if he ends up winning, but we'll see how it goes. Moving on to the next one here, man. It's Chris Barnett taking on Hamdi Abdelwahab. Sounded like a regular show character gone wrong, but Chris Barnett is sitting right now at a plus 310, man. I love the value on Barnett, and I struggle to find anything in Abdelwahab's game that really stands out to how is he this big of a favorite? He's one of the biggest favorites on the card, and he's like only had one loss ever in MMA, and it was to Muhammad Usman, okay? People forget, man, but I don't understand how Abdelwahab is this big of a favorite. I'm going to put Barnett in the B tier. I don't give a fuck, dude. I think there is good value on Barnett, and I was very tempted to pick him here. He was the only prediction on the card where I was really going back and forth and really thinking about it, but I went with kind of like the safer pick. I think the Abdelwahab, he should probably get this one done. He probably edges out Barnett technically in the wrestling and the striking, and just like he has been very active this year, whereas Barnett hasn't even fought till last, the Abu Dhabi pay-per-view, and he got knocked the hell out in that one as well. So I don't know, man. Barnett, he is unpredictable. I could see him getting some like spinning wheel kick KO, okay? I feel like that Barnett has the power advantage. I feel like Barnett, yes, he's win one, lose one in the UFC, but he still has proven he kind of is that like big blob hanging outside the rankings for heavyweight, okay? I could see Barnett just having the better finishing instincts, the better KO ability, and knocking out Abdelwahab, because Abdelwahab got dragged out to a dull decision against Muhammad Usman. And even before that, like a few years ago, he was popping for roids. He was inactive for a few years, not even fighting. Now this year, he's trying to just fight a bunch to try and make up for lost time. He's in Barnett, I get it. He's the older fighter. He's the slower fighter. He doesn't really have any momentum on his side, but I think there's good value for him to just get some upset KO here, man. I'm very tempted to go with Barnett. I want to for the vibes. I want to because I like Barnett. I want to because Abdelwahab just annoys me for like just no reason, man. I don't know what it is about this guy, but I struggle to find how he's just moving up the ranks and all this shit, okay? He's the pride of Egypt, for God's sakes. I don't know, man. Abdelwahab, I don't get how he's this big of a favorite. I think there's underrated value on Barnett here. Plus 310, man, is crazy. So, or maybe I'm tripping. Maybe Abdelwahab is just that much better and I'm missing something here, but it's heavyweight. And like, look at Vancouver last weekend. There was more upsets than actual favorites winning, I believe. So who the hell knows what can happen, all right? Barnett, I'm going to put him in the B tier here, all right? Moving on up next to Nathaniel Wood here. Nathaniel Wood. Oh, it's tough, dude. I feel disrespectful if I don't put him in the A tier. I could already see the comments being like, hey, we are fucking casual, man. Hey, people forget about Nathaniel Wood, man. Hey, he's only like a plus 125. He can get this one done. He totally can. Okay, because of that, oh my God, I want to put him in the B tier so bad, but like, it is a really close fight. He really can get it done. I feel like Wood is probably more efficient with everything he does, okay? I think he lacks the finishing ability, but in terms of being a clean, technical, well-rounded fighter, Nathaniel Wood, I think, has the advantage here. He's a bit older, but he's like more in his prime, you could argue, has more UFC experience. Delgado is just young, aggressive, very green, but he's hungry, and he has an insane finishing ability, an insane finishing ratio, you know what I mean? And Delgado in his own right, man, he has crazy power. Like, Wood has been kind of knocking down every single one of his opponents in his past few fights, but he's not really following up all the way through to really get these either finishes or more dominant wins. I think Delgado is just going to be quicker. I think Delgado is going to hit harder, and that's why I'm going with Delgado to win. So, like, that's what stops me from putting Wood in, like, S, but, dude, I want to put him in B, but Wood really can just prove that he is that UFC level. And for the most part, he really is hard to finish. He hasn't been finished since COVID. Think about everything that's gone down in your life since COVID. Okay, that's the last time Nathaniel Wood got finished here, but I do think he's very capable of getting this one done. I think if his chin really is able to survive the early onslaught that Delgado's going to bring. I mean, Delgado has power you should worry about the entire 3 rounds, but let's say Wood really is that durable, man, and he does just kind of make it that, I don't even want to say like a pitter-patter fest on the feet, because like Wood can bring it in a fucking dogfight sometimes, but you know what I'm saying, man. So I'm going to put Wood in the A tier here. I don't mean to stack up the A tier too much, but really, I think that these are some pretty good dogs. So, I don't know. I'll stick with Wood in the A tier. And moving on to what would have been the last one we got here, man. It's Mateusz Camilo. He's taking on Kareem Selwady. I can't really rank Camilo because it's a pick'em fight here. I know that the Rakic and Mirzakhanov fight was a pick'em, but at least Mirzakhanov, at least what I'm looking at right now, has slowly kind of became a favorite. So Camilo, it's a pick'em odds fight. There is no clear underdog, so I'm not going to rank this one, okay? But other than that, man, that's every single underdog ranked, male at least, for UFC 321. If we are talking about the females a little bit here, Jandiroba, I think there's great value on her. I'm not too familiar with WMMA in general, but Jandiroba is an underdog here, a plus 135. It seems like good value, but I don't know. I couldn't tell you, man. It seems like a lot of people are going with Dern. I don't know. I don't even have a pick for the fight. I'm going to keep it that way. I literally don't know what's going on with that, okay? But you guys get my point, man. That's it for every underdog being ranked here, the best and the worst for UFC 321. Let me know if you guys want me to do this video again. Let me know what you think of it. Should I do this for every pay-per-view or some of the fight nights? I don't know. I'm curious about it, but let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And in general, my boys, thank you guys so very much for making it this far. I really appreciate you giving me your time and attention. It means the world to me. So please give this video a like. Please hit subscribe. And even regardless, man, I hope you have a good time watching the card this weekend, man. It's pretty good. 321. Looking forward to it, man. Hope you guys do too. So all the smoke here. Appreciate you all a lot. Have a good one, guys.